Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thousands of memories are created and captured in each photo taken on your magical vacation. We proudly present Capturing Magic, where we help those moments live on forever.
Hey everyone, welcome to Capturing Magic, where we are using technology to create and capture magic memories. This is episode 17, recorded on Saturday, February 2nd, 2013. You can find more tips, tools, and notes for this show at capturingmagic.me. I'm Steph, and I am joined by my co-host Brittney Leavitt, who can be found at britishdesigns.com, where she creates digital scrapbook supplies. Hi, Britt.
Hi, Steph.
And we have joining us today Heather Hess-Joyce, who is a digital scrapbook designer and mostly font designer over at the-lilypad.com, right, Heather?
That's correct.
Do you have other places that you want to share with our listeners that they can find you? No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sorry,
right.
I don't really blog.
Can't they find you if they call in for tech support for a pro app?
That is correct. Maybe?
That's funny. Okay, and you heard just now, we also have joining us today Peppermint Granberg from onelittlebirddesigns.com, and her digital scrapbook supplies can be found at the-lilypad.com. Hi, Peppermint.
Hi, Steph.
And today, I'm really excited to be talking about phone photography in the parks. And I have to hear from Peppermint, because Peppermint recently went on her very first ever trip to Disney Anything.
Disney Anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been to Downtown Disney in Orlando during Gay Pride Week. Does that count?
Well, it counts as Disney something, but not a Disney park.
Oh. So. Downtown Disney doesn't count.
It counts as Disney something, but not a Disney park, because it's not a Disney park.
Oh.
It's just Downtown Disney.
I suppose anybody can get in, as is evidenced by the fact I was there. So,
Okay, so tell us what you thought about your first ever trip to Disney something.
My first ever trip to Disney something.
You went to Disneyland.
I went to Disneyland with you.
Yes.
As my tour guide, my personal tour guide, and Miss Heather Hess here on the show. She was with us.
Yes.
And a few other women.
Yeah.
And
Heather's husband.
And Heather's husband. He's just like one of the girls, though.
Yeah.
And for my first experience, I had a great time, actually. But I think a lot of why I had a great time was that I didn't have any kids with me. So that's always a fun time. Like I wonder, looking back, how the experience would have been if I would have had my son with me. Because as a girls' trip, it was insane. I mean, it was just so much fun. It was a fun way to spend time, because a lot of times when you get together with women, you're either drinking, which
some people might be.
Great. Not you.
No.
But I mean, most girls' trips aren't like a whole day of just something fun that's like innocent and great. Eventually you run out of stuff to do, and you just wind up falling back on the same old things like dinner, which we also did while we were out there. So it was a great way to spend like really 2 entire days with all these women that I know online and not get bored or run out of things to do. I mean, we always had things to do. So I just thought it was such a fun trip as far as going with friends.
Yeah, we were going constantly for sure.
I mean, with my son, it would have been a different experience. It would have been more like the arguments and the I'm hungry and waiting in lines and breakdowns, and mainly my temper tantrums and those kinds of things. So I loved it. I think if I had to go for a first time, that was the best way to do it. That's what I've been telling everybody, because people don't expect me to like Disney, but I like Disney the way that you showed me Disney.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, and having Steph as your tour guide, that's a pretty sweet gig right there. So.
Yeah, I don't think I could have done it otherwise, because I'm not a big like park type person. I'm not big on crowds. I'm very impatient, so I'm not good with waiting in lines, and I get frustrated very easily. So most of the time I don't go to zoos, parks, amusement parks, any of those kinds of things, because they're just not my cup of tea. You're standing around a bunch of people. You're all like corralled into those little waiting those little
Yeah.
bars that keep you waiting in line for an hour or so. And it just worked out perfectly because we were there during colder weather on a weekday. So we didn't have any waiting. The whole day just flew by, and having Steph there was like perfect. So I tell my husband, because I'm like, I want to go back, but I just want to go back with Steph and a bunch of girls under the same circumstances. Because I know that if like he and I went, that we would probably end up there on one of their busiest days ever. We wouldn't know where anything was. And we'd just be like frustrated and crying next to the teacups or something.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because the circumstances of when you go definitely affect the kind of magic you have there. Like, I've talked to a friend who grew up not really loving Disney at all, because when she went when she was little, they went on a blistering hot day. They all got sunburned. They argued the whole time. And so she just always had this like negative feeling about Disneyland. She never wanted to go. But then when she went on a great time with her family and her kids, and they had this like magical experience, she's like, I feel like I've been hating Disneyland my whole life, and now I love it, because it's just all about the circumstances of the time you visit.
Yeah. And I think a lot of things that go into that play into that, and I've said it before, is the planning. If you go to the parks without a plan, you're not going to have a good time. Not as good of a time as you could have had with a plan. And I spent a lot of time kind of planning and figuring out our touring plan, what rides we would do, what rides we wouldn't do, and trying to fit in as much as I could in a very short amount of time. We really had one full day to do both parks, and then we had a little bit of time on another day where we went and did a few things, but it was hard to fit everything in. And we didn't get to ride Tower of Terror, which was the one thing I feel so bad about, that we should have skipped the Tiki Room and done the Tower of Terror.
Yes,
I know.
definitely.
Oh my gosh, that was so much scarier. No way. Peppermint, you totally lucked out not having to do Tower of Terror.
I haven't talked to you, Heather, since you did Tower of Terror.
Well, it was awful. The wait was so long.
Oh.
You didn't have fast passes?
We did have fast passes, but it was still like, it still took like 45 minutes, because like there was only
one
like
tower working.
Exactly. And so it's just anxiety.
There's like a big injustice too when you have to wait an hour to do something that just scares the living crap out of you.
Right.
Like at a certain point, you're like, why did I do that? Which is kind of how I felt about the Tiki Room, which is like, it's like a half hour of my life I'll never get back, and I just still have nightmares about it. So,
but you got a Dole Whip.
You did get a Dole Whip, but she could have got the Dole Whip without the Tiki Room.
I didn't get a Dole Whip. I just tried Wes's. Remember?
That's true.
It was too cold. If I would
true.
eat that whole thing, I would have. I don't know how you guys did that, because it was really cold that day.
It was cold that day. We think that there was a conspiracy. We were there during the cold spell this winter in January, and we think there was a conspiracy because everybody's phone, every weather app we checked said 50 degrees, and that was a lie. There's no way it was 50 degrees.
Yeah, I just don't know how it was 50, because it was sunny. It wasn't like it was gray and horrible out. It was sunny, and there's no way it felt 50 degrees.
It was freezing cold. I mean, I had a fleece jacket on, my winter coat on, 2 pair of pants.
2 pair of pants.
And I was still cold.
Yeah. But I mean, it worked out well for me. As much as the cold was uncomfortable, it worked out really well for us to be able to get so much done with such a large group of people.
Yeah.
In just one day.
It's true, because the crowds just weren't there. The people weren't there because it was so cold.
Yeah, I'll take freezing cold and low crowds any day.
Yeah, because if it would have been like 90 that day or even 80 that day and packed, I would have had a much different experience. I probably would have been like, I don't get what you think is so great about this.
Which was my fear. My fear was that
much different experience for us if it had been like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, but it turned out to be good. It was a lot of pressure for me. I felt a lot of pressure trying to plan everything and make sure that, because I felt like, okay, if she doesn't like Disneyland, then it's my fault. I didn't do a good job. I was trying to plan enough things so that you could get a feel of the overall, some of the vintage rides that were there from the beginning to the newer stuff. And then also, but not be overwhelmed because we were trying to fit so much in too. So I let you have your shopping time.
Well, it was shopping time out of a necessity.
Yes.
Had I not needed a sweatshirt, we probably wouldn't have had to done much shopping.
Yeah. But
We hit like every store in the joint.
We did hit every single store in Disneyland.
I'm well versed in every store in Disneyland.
Yeah. So, and you did find a sweatshirt that you liked.
Yeah. But my favorite part by far of the entire trip, like if I had to pick one part, it was that the World of Color at the end, I think was my favorite. I love that.
I was glad that you liked that as much as you did because it's my favorite show. And so to have you love it as much as you did too and be excited about it like you were was like so icing on the cake for me.
Yeah. I came home and when I was telling my husband about it because I was kind of telling him the things we went on and I showed him my pictures. And then I was telling him about World of Color and he was like, really? A light show? You thought that was, I was like, Tom, you don't understand. Like I was trying not to cry, but part of that was because I knew we were going to be saying goodbye at the end. So it was kind of emotional because here you are knowing that you just spent all this time with these people that you love and that you spend, every week with because we record together on a different podcast. Right. And then, so I was already in that frame of mind, like, okay, after this we say goodbye. So I was feeling a little emotional anyways, but then to like throw in a bunch of Disney animation and the sad Disney songs and watching the Lion King and his dad when he falls off, doesn't help.
Yes.
That is like the saddest part of that. Like I can't believe every time it comes on, I'm like, I can't believe this is in the show. It's like so mean.
I was like torn. So I told him, I was like, oh, I was so emotional. It was horrible, but I loved it. I loved all of it. But I loved the World of Color. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Perfect. So, and I guess I need to mention, which I didn't, you brought up, you are one of my co-hosts on the Digi Show, which is another podcast. We do have some crossover. And so a lot of our listeners here will recognize you and know all about you, but some may not.
They may be like, what? She's here too now?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Girl.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get into some phone tips then. Phone photography at the parks, because when we were doing this big group in Disneyland, one of the things that I got to see was the iPhone 5 because I'm on the 4S and how amazingly well it does in the dark. And then also, Peppermint, I will admit I was a little jealous of your phone because of the pictures you were getting in the dark.
Yeah, it's the first time I really took my phone through the paces, I think, for something other than just my normal everyday Instagram photography.
Right. Share with our listeners what your phone is. It's an Android, but I don't know. It's a Galaxy?
Yep, it's the Galaxy S3. I don't know much about it, like spec-wise.
Right.
As far as,
why it's good.
Why it's great. I just know that compared to my last Android, it's like light years ahead of it.
And then, Britt, you're on the 5.
Yep. I have an iPhone 5.
And Heather's on the 5.
No, I have a 4S.
You do? Mm-hmm. I thought you had a 5. Because when we were in the Tiki room, I asked you to take a picture with my phone, and you're like, no, I need the 5. And we would only take a picture with the 5, and so I
Right. Yeah, no, because I had tried to take a photo with mine, and I knew that Katie had a 5. So that's why I was like, Katie,
give me your 5.
Does West have a 5?
No. He really likes your phone, though, Peppermint. I don't know what's going to happen.
You wouldn't have been able to know it by the amount of insults he was throwing my way for having an inferior phone.
I think that was just some form of love.
It's just jealousy. It was jealousy is what it was.
That's probably what it was. He was trying to mask it.
He was playing hard to get. He was like, I don't want to love you, Android, but I do.
I think that's what it was.
And we might also want to mention that both Heather and her husband work for Apple, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So might be a big deal for Wes to admit that he was liking the Android.
Yeah, he was really digging it.
It was impressive on the dark. Did you have any special apps that you were using on the dark, or was that just the native camera app?
That's just the native camera app on this particular model. Sometimes each manufacturer, like Samsung, might have tweaked it because I haven't tried other Android phones besides my previous one, which was a Motorola. So I don't know how much of it is just part of the operating system and how much of it might be added by Samsung, but I'm pretty sure it's all just Android OS. Like, I don't think that they've messed with the camera app much.
Okay. And then Brittney,
but it has a low light setting on it, which my other phone didn't have. And that's the part that I don't know if that's on every Android or if it's just on mine. But when I found it, that there was that low light setting and I started using it around the house, I was like really amazed by how much light it added, but it really adds to the processing time.
Yeah. And then Brittney, with your 5, Did you notice a notable difference in between dark versus light when you've been taking pictures?
As far as like how well it takes dark grade pictures? Yeah, for sure. It definitely takes better dark grade pictures. I mean, it takes better pictures all around. So,
right.
Yeah.
So what have you done with your 5 at the parks?
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
the only one with a 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until just now. Okay. So, I love the panoramic setting, or the panoramic, but I don't think that's a 5 thing. That's just the OS thing, right?
Yeah.
You can still do panoramic with the 4S, correct?
Yeah, I have that option.
Yeah, but with the new operating system, I love the panoramic. And I didn't realize how much I would love that until we were like day 2 or 3 of our trip. And I was like, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? I love that. It does take really good dark grade pictures. We have a really great, speaking of the Tiki room, dark picture of after everyone had exited. We kind of hung back and took a really cute picture of Josh and Scarlett in front of the fountain, and I did actually do a panoramic one in there, so it's like the whole Tiki room with them in the middle, and it's still pretty. Yeah, it's really cool. The look of it is really neat. It is pretty dark though, the picture. It's not like let a ton of light in, but to do panoramic in the dark kind of Tiki room. Yeah. I mean, it's after the lights have gone down, kind of at the end, so it is pretty dark in there, but it's a very cool picture. And I definitely could not have done anything like that.
You need to share that in the show notes, I think, that picture.
Okay. It's dark. Like I just pulled it up right now so I could say, is it really as good as I remember? But it's cool because you can see all of the birds up on the main 4 birds. You can see all of them. It's pretty cool, actually. But, it's not necessary to like my memory keeping to have that picture, but it's pretty cool picture.
Yeah.
What else do I love about the 5? I don't know. I feel like it's taken great pictures. I found that I took.
Did you have I just want to ask, this is going to sound strange coming from me too. Did you have the 4S before that and you went to the 5, or did you go from like the 4 to the 5?
I went from the 4 to the 5, but Josh went from the 4S to the 5.
Okay.
He had a 4S for longer than I.
Because the 4, from what Steph has said, took horrible pictures, right?
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't say like horrible, but they're nothing compared to my 5. Like they're so, because the 4S definitely took better pictures than the 4. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the 5, it's just amazing. I talked about this on a previous episode, but because I had just gotten it before this trip, like we kind of made sure to get them before our trip for this very reason. I feel like I took way more pictures on my phone than I did my DSLR. Like I feel like I didn't take that out hardly at all.
Because you knew they were going to be good.
Yeah. But I still love, I said this on the episode before that I felt like I just was happy with my phone pictures. So like why bother with the big camera? But now that I've edited through my DSLR pictures and really looked at them, I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to take some more with that because it's very different.
Yeah.
But the phone takes such amazing pictures, especially a dark grade picture. I feel like I'm not even going to worry about my DSLR dark grade. Like it takes such good pictures in the dark. I mean, they have noise and stuff, but they're still really pretty awesome. I took some great ones on Haunted Mansion. I know you have stuff too, taking good ones on Haunted Mansion with your 4S, but I don't know. I was really happy with the camera on it for sure.
I've been super happy with my 4S. And when I was at Disney World, my husband's on the 4. And when I was at Disney World and we were both trying to take pictures of the same things, he just really struggled in the dark on the 4. And I did better. But when I went to Disneyland, and Katie, who's my other co-host on the Digi Show, she has the 5, and we were on Small World taking photos, and I look over at her camera, we're taking photos of the same things, and I see on her screen the photos she's shot, and I'm like, wah, my phone sucks. I want the 5. I had major 5 jealousy there, and I just hadn't, I mean, I've heard you talk, Britt, about how much you love the 5, but I didn't think that it could really be that much better. It is.
Yeah. It is. Josh says that he regrets not upgrading me sooner just because I take so many pictures on my phone of our daughter, and like I take a lot of pictures. He's like, I feel guilty that I left you on the 4 for so long because now we have like all these pictures that are not so good that could have been so much better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He regrets it.
Heather, what about you when you were taking photos there with because your husband's on the 5, right? Did you say that?
No, we're both on the 4S.
You were both on the 4S. Okay. So you were good with the 4S? No? Because you wanted Katie's 5 too. You had envy.
I did. I didn't realize how different it was until, we were in that situation, because it's like when you go to the store and you're looking at it, like, in the light, it's, it's not that different. But then as soon as you get into that dark, like the Tiki room, you can so tell a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if is there a big difference, I wonder, between the 4S and the 5 once you get them on your computer, though? Because like a big reason that the photo quality on my phone, I feel, changed so much, part of it is just the screen is better on my new phone. It's just a higher quality screen. There's been like a lot of advancements in the 2 years between that and my previous phone as far as like creating the high definition screens on the smartphones.
Yeah, my brother had an Android, and he thought his whole time he had it, he thought his camera just took really crappy pictures because he never put them on his computer. But then he put them on the computer like randomly one day, and he's like, "What? My pictures are great. Like they're not even that bad. I thought they were so awful this whole time, but it was just a screen issue."
Because like even pictures that, when I bought my new phone and all my pictures from my old phone imported over, I was looking through and I'm like, well, these aren't so horrible. On the new screen, a lot of them were just a lot brighter and better to look at too. So I wonder, like, when you were, because as far as I know, they didn't make any real huge advancements in that camera on the 5, did they? It's the same camera that's on the 4S.
No,
but they probably changed.
They upgraded the sensor. Yeah.
Because then I wonder if like just part of it was looking over at Katie's phone, and if the screen's just different between the 4S and the 5, maybe they just look brighter or crisper because of the screen change.
I think the 4S and the 5 both have the Retina display.
Yeah. For sure, on the 4, your pictures did look a little better once you got them onto your computer because of the Retina. It didn't have the Retina display, but it's still, looking at my pictures versus like Josh's pictures when he had the 4S on the computer, they're definitely better, especially low light. But like I was amazed at the low light things that my 5 could do. Like, for example, I took pictures of riding Soarin over California with my little niece, and it was one of her first times ever riding it. It was the first time I had ever ridden it with her because she was finally tall enough. And that is a dark ride. Like, you can't take pictures of anything in there because it's all just on that screen, But I had these pictures of her sitting next to me riding it, and they're actually, they're dark and grainy, but they capture the moment for sure. Like, they're really special and sweet pictures, and I could never have done that on my 4 ever. It would not have worked.
Interesting. One of the things also that I noticed that Peppermint you can do with your phone that I can't do with mine without a special app is when we were at World of Color and I was like, take pictures in the big fire scene, the pirate fire scene, and you were just snapping pictures over and over and over and over again, hitting that button. But my phone has to kind of reset. It has a slower shutter lag time, I guess, in between shots.
Yeah, I was really surprised. That was the first time I knew my phone could do that too. I've never tested my phone under those kind of circumstances where you don't have forever to
circumstances.
Yeah, like I normally am just taking everyday pictures around our house of my life and stuff, things that aren't time sensitive. So it was the first time I'd actually had to take pictures of something that was happening live where you don't just get to retake it or where you are worried about speed. So that was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, look at it go.
Yeah.
Just give it the button because I just wanted to like max it out. But a lot of that I think is just the speed of the processor in the phone.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely that. Now that you say it, that reminds me that is definitely something on the 5 that I could not have done on the 4 or even the 4S. I don't know, Heather, does your phone take quick pictures like that?
I don't think so.
Because my 5, I can like tap, 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 tap,
really?
And it'll take picture. It's so fast.
Upgrading.
Like I could take so many pictures. And
you need to upgrade,
Steph.
Yeah.
I have super upgrade envy right now.
Yeah, I know. Totally right.
Wait, you want to upgrade to the Android though, right, Heather?
No, that's wise. I need something that syncs with my computer.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
That's true.
Heather's always been Mac. Since you were forever, right, Heather? You were raised on Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm not anti-Apple. People always like to think that I'm anti-Apple, I think, just because I'm an Android user. But I'm the same way. I just want stuff that works with my other stuff, and that works the best. I'm a Google user, and I use PCs, so Android just naturally works better with my things.
Yeah. It's all
If I had
good.
Macs, I would want iPhones and iPads because they would just work better together.
It all works. Yeah, it's all good. I think having a phone in the parks that you can easily take photos with is a great thing. Because like they always say, the phone that's with, or the camera that's with you is the best camera. And so
I didn't bring any cameras. I mean, I brought my point and shoot with me when we went to the park, but it was in my purse and it was so cold that I never wanted to take my gloves off. And that was I didn't bring my SLR with me on that trip at all because like Britt said earlier, I really like my phone pictures and I just felt like it would be fine. I mean, if I had any doubts about my phone, then I would have probably brought a bigger camera. But since I've always had such great luck with it, I was like, I can just get by with my phone and then I don't have to lug a big thing around or always be worried about setting it down. And it's just nice to just have my phone with me, which is always with me anyways, and just pull that out and trust that my pictures were going to be fine.
Yeah. And that's that day that we spent in the parks, I didn't take my DSLR either because I wanted to be lightweight and just I knew we were going to be trying to move a lot and not taking, pictures with my DSLR. So I left that at the hotel.
And our point and shoot is actually the camera I probably use least, like in our entire lineup of cameras in our house. My SLR is probably second at this point to my phone for a while now because with Instagram and the fact that my phone's always with me, it probably takes the bulk of my everyday photos. And then our point and shoot is like a distant third. Like I only use it out of necessity. So I was actually faster with my phone camera taking pictures of things, again, because a lot of things were time sensitive, that to take out our point and shoot and try to figure it out and wrap my head around it and remember which setting to have it on, it takes so much longer than just using my phone.
Okay, what about, what were you going to say, Britt?
I was just going to say, as far as like using my iPhone a lot is when we like in years past when cameras on your phone weren't as good, Josh and I would always just like scratch our heads at people who are like, we're waiting in line. Okay. So you wait in line for a while to meet Mickey Mouse and then you go up to take your picture and they pull out their little flip phones and take a picture with that. We were always like, what is the point? Like, why are you only taking a picture on your phone? Like, where's your real camera? But then on this last trip, we were laughing to ourselves the whole time because we're like, we're those people now that like we wait in line to meet Mickey and we take out our phones and take pictures with our phones. But it's just because they're better now. But we used to always just laugh at people who would do that and not understand it. But now that's us. And we handed our phones to PhotoPass photographers a lot just because we would want one for Instagram or, one that we'd want right away instead of waiting to get our PhotoPass pictures. And every cast member we'd hand our phones to, which that always makes me nervous handing our phones to cast members because you're like, please don't drop it.
Yeah.
But we braved it and did it anyway. But the ones every cast member is like, "Ooh, is this a 5? Ooh, does this do panoramic?" And they were always like interested in our phones because they were brand new at the time. But do you remember in our last episode, Steph, I was talking about our Cars Land picture out by the sign and how weird the lighting was and stuff there? Well, I pulled them up because I was like, I think our iPhone pictures actually turned out better than any of our regular pictures on those. And I pulled them up and they are way better, like even better than the PhotoPass pictures.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because of just how well it did in the low light. Like they're not weird colors. There's no flash. It's just a low light picture, but it turned out much better than our PhotoPass pictures. I could do like a comparison in our show notes if you want, but it's pretty awesome to see side by side.
Yeah, because when we were there, we went the back way that I talked about in the last episode. After World of Color, I took everyone out past Cars Land so that we could see it at night, and we hurried and did a photo there. And I reached for Peppermint's camera, actually her phone. I was like, okay, Peppermint's phone, because hers seemed to be doing so super well in the dark, but the colors were still wonky.
It was just a tough. Well, plus we had to hand it to a guy who didn't seem to really, and he kind of shook it when he was doing it. So they ended up a little weird too.
Yeah. We had to hand it to some stranger, which is always nerve wracking.
Mm-hmm.
I threw Peppermint's phone under the bus with the stranger.
Well, plus that guy was because we took pictures of them first, and he was using an Android, so he knew what he was doing as far as that went. But
yeah, we figured he did anyway.
He wasn't going to get that far with it.
No.
I'm a really fast runner if someone's threatening my technology.
Yeah. What apps do you use in the parks? Did you use in the parks? Do you want to try? Do you have some that you want to try?
I would really like to have an Android version of that Capturing Magic app that you
I totally set myself up for that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
That looked awesome. And I really liked seeing, especially afterwards when you sent that exported list of everything where you had notes and comments and everything. I was like, oh, that would have been nice because
That was amazing. That was the coolest thing.
Thank you.
And like it said which phone certain pictures were on or whether they were PhotoPass. And I just think that like for doing almost like a day in the life kind of itinerary thing, that would be great to just be able to look through that, know where to go for each of the photos, know who you have to contact if somebody else took the photos, and just put it all together all in one big list, which I'm happy that you had it, because then when I'm looking back to like document mine, I can look at your list since I was with you and have like a rundown moment by moment list. So at least have one person, I guess, with you who can have an app like that, who's willing to be like your record keeper all day and make the notes so that at the end everybody has it.
And I didn't get every single photo that we took in there, I didn't get them all in there, but
right. But just to know like where we were, especially for someone like me who I don't always know the names of where we were at, or I don't remember the order afterwards because it's all kind of a blur for me. That to be able to look back at it and be like, and have it like from beginning to end, just a rundown of everywhere we went, every PhotoPass photo that we took, all those things in order, especially for someone who's like like a scrapbooker like me, where those can be interesting pages when you do the whole rundown.
Yeah, I think you could even do a page with just that electronic version of the rundown in there. That would be interesting to have that just in your book or whatever you're going to make, your photo book or your scrapbook of the trip. But yeah, it's super helpful for me because we had such a big group, and I set up a Dropbox, and all of us that spent that day together just kind of put all of our photos in there in a folder with our name on it. And so now as I'm looking, I was like, I know that we took a picture of World of Color with Katie and Peppermint and I. Where is that picture? And then I was able to look through the list, and it was Peppermint's phone that we took that. So then I can go to Peppermint's folder and grab that photo.
So organized and so awesome.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things I'm looking forward to most on our next trip, because I haven't been able to use the Capturing Magic apps in the park. I've only been able to do like the pre-planning stuff. And I can't wait to like get in the park and unlock that, like where it will all work.
Yes. Yeah, it's fun. And that's the app that I used the most at the park, actually, is I tried to take most of my photos in the app, because by doing that, it automatically enters all of that information, and I don't have to do it. And I went in and added little notes to some of the photos, like torturing Peppermint with the Tiki room. I entered that in there.
So as long as you take the picture in the app, it automatically puts all the info in. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. It automatically enters that it was taken on your phone, and if you're taking it with a different camera, then you have to just select which camera you took it with. But it will do the time stamp and the location information. And
you
all of that.
Added us all in, right, with like avatars, so she could just tap, like everyone had lists of who was there, so she would have like me, Katie, and Peppermint, Heather, and Wes, and then where that photo was taken and what it was, and if other people were off somewhere else, their names weren't on there, so she could just like quick docket.
Yeah, it's like something that's automatically you kind of set it up before you go to the park, and then I could quickly change it, because Heather and Wes, I didn't know that they were going to be hanging with us, and so I didn't have them in the app for all of the photo apps, but I was able to quickly, if they were in the picture, hurry and add them really quick, and then it's all in that exported list.
Were we Disney crashers?
No, I just didn't.
Okay.
Well, you crashed our party, but whatever.
Thanks for letting us.
We had a lot of fun with you guys being there, so it all worked out good, and it helped me push my app. That was one thing that I was really trying to push the limits on the app. And on the Small World ride, I think I took like 20 pictures in app on the Small World ride, and it didn't crash on me. That's awesome. Love it. So
it's cool that you can do kind of your itinerary in the same spot as you're taking all your pictures, because like I always want to find an app that I can take good notes on and make it, what we did all day long, kind of a record. But if you can do that all within that, just, by noting in your pictures and have it all in one place, that's like the best thing because it's combining two tasks that I already need to do just into one app.
Yeah.
And I think about like on Kim Lund because she does her trips, Project Lifestyle and lifestyle project in the style of Project Life. And I was looking through her pages that she just posted on the Capturing Magic blog. And I love how on one side she'll have like just a full page of just the itinerary of that day, like all the things they did. And by using the apps, like exporting that list, it'd be helpful to put that list together.
Yeah. And then you can just copy and paste all of the information. And the information goes into that exported list as well as it's added. If you took the photo in app, it's added to the metadata of the photo as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. What other apps did you guys use? Instagram at the parks?
I used Instagram a lot, but I use Instagram a little. I abuse Instagram a little too much anyways.
Me too.
Since I didn't have, Instagram's kind of how I look back on my days now it's like my visual diary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a shame that I have to torture so many other people with my visual diary and that it's so public. But a lot of times I've found that I just use Instagram in that way. Like I would post things to Instagram because then that way when I look back at it, I kind of get like these anchors through my day where I can remember the order of things. Because if I remember what happened immediately before that and immediately after that, I can kind of piece together
For sure.
the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use Instagram as a record of our trip for sure. I mean, I like to share with other people as well, but maybe I'm being selfish, but I definitely use it as sort of a record of what we did and hopefully other people want to see it. I don't know.
Was that Heather? Did you say something?
No, yeah, it's such a great record.
It is.
And like I love seeing other people's Disney's photos.
Me too.
Right now, Amy Jaswinski is in Disneyland.
Yes.
Is at Disneyland. Oh my God. Like every photo she posts, I'm just like, I like it on Instagram. I like it on Facebook. I'm going to go make a comment. Like it's so much fun to get to see it all.
It is. It is.
Because then it's like you're reliving it.
Yeah, I love it. She was tagging me. She was tagging the Capturing Magic Instagram feed in a bunch of her photos, and then she apologized to all of her other followers. She's like, I'm sorry for all of the Disney pics that you're going to be seeing. And I'm like, you don't need to apologize. No apologies.
Stop apologizing. Post more photos.
Yes.
We should put links to all our Instagram accounts in our show notes.
We can do that for sure. Yeah.
So people can go see.
Yeah. Any other apps that you guys discovered
I just
that you like
found
to
one
use?
this morning that's called Easy Brightness.
Ooh.
And it seems to be really cool. Like I haven't used it in the park, but I can't wait to, because that was one of my big things was like trying to save on battery life. And so like turning the brightness down is the biggest thing, but sometimes like you need the brightness. But so this is like a really easy way to go in and change the brightness. You just like tap on the button instead of having to go into the settings. It's so cool.
But just
So
the
it's like-
brightness on your photos or the brightness on your screen?
The brightness on the screen.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because that is a pain to try and like go to settings, it's like 4 more clicks than I want to do to be able to turn the brightness up.
Exactly. And so this is like, there's a moon to make it dark, there's a sun to make it bright, and then you can still go in and adjust it. So it's super neat. Like I can't wait to use that.
You know,
I just have a
up.
slider in my notification tray.
Oh,
Listen, fancy pants.
yeah.
Pretty fancy.
We have to go to settings and then brightness.
I have mine set up in the settings. I have mine set up to auto adjust depending on how much light there is in the room. So if it's darker in the room, it automatically dims.
Mine does that too, but sometimes I need to pump it up because I can't see. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's handy on the dark rides to not have it come on as bright.
Well, that's the thing. As on dark rides, when you're holding your big old bright phone, I can't stand that. When someone's in front of you taking pictures of the dark ride, which I know we're all sitting here saying how great our phones do
on the dark rides.
Please be considerate and turn your screen way down because it's like when someone holds that glaring phone up in front of you, or heaven forbid, their glaring bright iPad in front of your face trying to take pictures on their iPad.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, I don't
What
need
is that?
My face.
What is that?
So funny.
iPad photography cracks me up, but there's so many people who do it. I do not understand it, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, turn your brightness down on your screen when you're doing dark ride pictures.
When it's
please.
totally dark, you're totally in the dark, like riding from the dock on Pirates of the Caribbean, from the dock to where you go down the hill. Please just don't have your phone out because the pictures aren't going to turn out anyway. Right?
There.
Okay. Any other, let's see, saving battery life. That was one thing we were going to talk about too. I know that Heather, you had a ton of tips I noticed you doing some things in the park to conserve battery.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big one is like putting the brightness down. Because it's like when you don't check, I don't know. I didn't check my phone very often. I didn't Instagram from the park to save battery life. That was like my big thing. Like I put everything on Instagram like later that night or even days after because I just completely was so exhausted. But that's a big thing is the brightness and then your like network settings. Like if you have your phone to check for mail, like as soon as you get a new message, like I didn't need mail when I was at the parks. Like I turned a lot of that stuff off.
And you can turn your Wi-Fi off so that it's not constantly looking for a Wi-Fi connection. That always saves battery a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you're at Disney World where they have Wi-Fi, then you want that on. But at Disney,
if you need it, if you don't, it's going to still save because you can lose your Wi-Fi connection at Disney World and then it's still searching for that signal and that causes more problems.
It's easier probably just to turn the Wi-Fi setting off and then until you need it, turn it back on so that your phone's not sitting in your pocket looking for a connection. And I will say it will start to it used to at Disneyland look for just a cellular connection constantly because the service there was so bad. But now that we're on LTE, when I was on LTE, I didn't have that problem. But I used to, where my phone was just constantly looking for a cellular connection, and that drained my battery real fast.
I run into that problem at Disneyland about 10 o'clock in the morning until noonish, not being able to get a signal because the networks are
overloaded.
They're overloaded. I'm on 4G. So
got to get on LTE, Steph.
Yeah, I don't even know anything about it.
It's so awesome. They just turned it on in our, like where I live, like this last month. And
I'm sure I don't have it where I live.
Probably not. We got lucky. I don't know why it happened in our area so quickly. Because like even in Salt Lake City, which is way bigger than where I live, they didn't have it, but we did. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow, that is not on topic. So.
Yeah, I typically, for apps for photography, I typically just use the native camera app and then import everything in to other apps. I didn't Instagram from the parks either. I did it later as well. Mostly.
I Instagrammed from the park.
You too.
You also got retweeted from the park.
Yes.
Yep.
Peppermint
Steph
got.
doesn't want to talk about it. Steph doesn't want to talk about it.
No, I'll share. I'm going to share. Did you upload a photo to Instagram and then tweeted it?
Well, my Instagram just automatically shares to my Twitter feed. Like I just have it hooked to it. So when I Instagram, it goes to Twitter.
And
but
so
that's where they.
Yeah. You did a hashtag of Disneyland, and the official Disneyland Parks Twitter feed picked it up and retweeted Peppermint.
Ooh. No, they just responded to me.
Oh, they did?
They just sent me a message back.
Yeah, they said it looks good because there was a picture of Dole Whip.
No, it was a picture of the skewers, the asparagus skewers.
Oh. See, I don't know the story. You better tell it.
I took a picture of the bacon-wrapped asparagus skewers that we stopped and got after I got my sweatshirt. And I Instagrammed it. Liz and I both did. But I had been taking most of my pictures with Disneyland that day. And then when we went over to get the Dole Whips and go into the beautiful Tiki room, I had been complaining earlier because while I had been Instagramming that day at Disneyland, I was picking up all these kind of sketchy followers who they were just following the hashtag. So I'd been saying to my friend Liz earlier, because I had like these kind of creepy looking guys who were suddenly new followers of mine on Instagram. And so I was going in and blocking them because I don't like random people following me on Instagram. And so I was just saying, I should stop using these hashtags because people must just be following those hashtags and then they're following people. And so that bacon wrap skewer was the last one I sent through with the Disneyland hashtag. And then I got one on Twitter. So I said to Steph, I'm like, see, all these random people are following me today. And she's like, that's the official Disneyland Twitter.
Peppermint didn't even know what it was. I'm like, you just got tweeted by the official Disneyland Twitter feed.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So then I shut up about it a little bit.
You stopped complaining.
I stopped complaining because I was like, really? That's them? That's Disney? I know them. That's where I am.
Yes.
So this is back to apps we use. Sorry, I know we're trying to talk about battery life, but I used Snapseed a lot in the park before I would Instagram a picture if I needed it to look better, brighter, or more colorful or whatever, instead of just running the Instagram filter on it, like if it wouldn't work. I used Snapseed a lot. I know we talked about that on a previous show, how much I love that app, but I use that a lot on my park pictures.
I love
Snapseed. To make them look prettier. I know. And now it's free.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Snapseed too on my pictures while I was there. I don't do it on all pictures, but while I was there, just especially low light ones to kind of bring the brightness up or get some of the contrast back in it.
Yeah,
because otherwise when you run them through those Instagram filters, sometimes they end up looking real weird.
Yeah, super like blown out or.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have any other tips to share?
I was going to say for my battery life that I would, especially towards the end of the day when my battery would be going low. And I have a pretty good battery life on my phone. So like I said, I was Instagramming and taking pictures and doing all sorts of stuff. And my battery usually didn't start going dead until about, I don't know, like 8 o'clock at night. And then I started putting it in airplane mode just to shut everything down. And then I would take it out of airplane mode, like whenever we were between rides or something, so that it could pull my mail and everything through. And then I'd put it back in airplane mode just so it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't even taking my text messages or anything. The whole thing was shut down. And because like Heather said earlier, I didn't need them. When we were doing stuff, I wasn't going to be checking my email or answering my text messages anyways. And then that saved my battery life a lot near the end.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I could make it home and still have my work for the rest of the night.
Our phones worked really well this last trip. We usually found our batteries dying toward the end of the day as well on past trips. But with the 5, I don't know if the battery life is just better or if it's because we were on LTE. But it was just our batteries lasted way longer. But in past trips, we've used an external battery pack and with a USB port on it so that you can plug in your little USB cable to it. And those work great. And we only paid $20. Well, we got ours on sale they have them on Amazon and they're anywhere between like $20 and $80, depending on like what size of battery you want, like how much charge it'll give you. But we just bought the lower end one, like the $20 one. But we got ours on sale for like $8. We got a really good deal. It wasn't on Amazon. It was on some other site. But anyway, it's like a generic brand. It's not even like some name brand or anything, but they're well rated on Amazon. And on ours, we can get 3 full charges. Like if your phone's completely dead, you can get 3 full phone charges on it.
You're infringing upon my pick right now.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Have one, but no, I'm just kidding.
But I recommend those to people because I've had people ask me before, like if we had one, and we just say, well, the one we have isn't technically on Amazon, but it's just like all of these. So those are good to have if you're worried about your phone dying or if your phone always dies like ours used to. We always had to have that. We always had to recharge halfway, or not halfway, usually around like 4 or 5, we'd have to recharge.
Yeah, I usually have to recharge around 2 to 3.
Yeah, but $20 for a charger, that's no big deal. That's not bad.
Nope. Not bad at all. Okay, any other tips anyone wanted to throw in? Okay, then we will move on to our picks with Pixie Dust.
Is that what picks with Pixie Dust?
Yeah, we call them picks with Pixie Dust here.
Ooh, fancy.
Sorry, Peppermint. I didn't mean to infringe on your pick.
She can still pick it. Brittney, will you go first with your pick?
Yeah, my pick is something actually, I think, Steph, you mentioned during the show a little bit, but it's just something really basic and everyone out there hopefully doesn't roll their eyes and think it's a dumb pick, but I am picking Dropbox for this reason. I use Dropbox to share my pictures with our family, just like you did, Steph, with your group, where it's just a good place to dump all your pictures and then everyone can just download them off of Dropbox because there's no way to email or, put them on a disk, or it's just that's a pain to try and share your pictures with your family. But in Dropbox, you can just get a free account, drop all your pictures into Dropbox, and then they can download them. They can add theirs to it into their own little folder, and then you can all share each other's pictures. And how many times have you been on trips with the group where you're like, okay, we all need to share our pictures, and then it never happens? Yeah. But now that we have Dropbox, we actually are doing it where we'll go and just because it's so easy to dump all your pictures and share them through there. And that's actually how I shared our PhotoPass pictures. Is when I downloaded my zip after I got home. I put the zip right onto Dropbox, and then the other people in our group who shared our PhotoPass with us were all able to download them right off of there. So
Perfect.
It was super fast and easy, and the perfect way to share your pictures with your whole family or your grandparents or whoever, you want to give all your pictures to.
Perfect. Yeah, it worked out great for us, I think, to be able to do it that way.
Yeah. And there's enough space in my free, because I still just have a free account, and I had enough space that we could put all our pictures in and be fine.
How much space do you get with a free account? Is it 5 gigs?
I don't remember anymore.
Kind of variable because you can earn more space by referring other people.
I don't know what mine was when I started, because now I have free space because the people that I shared with, they joined, which made me get more space. So I don't remember how much I started out with, but it's enough that you can I think it might be 5 gigs. I can't remember.
Alrighty, Heather.
So my pick is Compliments of Aaron Morris.
Nice.
He's
on the Capturing Magic team.
He is. And we are friends on Facebook. And I was on, it must have been like last weekend, and he posted that he was going to be getting rid of some of his Disney collection. And I bought it, and it makes me so incredibly happy. And I think that everyone should have a little Disney Funko Pop character, because it makes me so happy. It really does. It has nothing to do with a phone app or anything, but like, it's going to be sitting on my desk as soon as I get like my permanent desk at work. And now they're just like in the box, and I walk by and I look at them, and they're just so freaking cute. And you can find like your favorite character or your second favorite character and then your 20th favorite character. And it's just so adorable. Like, you can't help but smile. They're so cute.
Yeah, they are.
I'm so giddy over it.
I saw your post on Instagram with them. They look super cute.
Which ones do you have, Heather?
Oh gosh, there are a few. So I have like some Toy Story, like the Toy Story crew, Beauty and the Beast, some of the villains, the Monsters Inc. crew.
Fun.
Yeah.
I love those. They're so cute. The style of them totally appeals to my aesthetic. Like, I just love the kind of funky looking figures. I don't know. And they have so many characters now that you could get.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had never seen them before. Where do you get them?
They sell them at the Disney store.
So you don't have to be in the parks to get them?
Okay. Nope. They sell them at the Disney store. They're on Amazon. They come out with new series every year or every 6 months. I don't know. They come out with like a new series.
I think it's 6 months.
Yeah. They're really, really fun. And they go on sale quite a bit. I haven't looked recently on the Disney store website, but like sometimes you can get them for like $5 if you watch like for their clearance and stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, Peppermint.
I'm picking a external battery pack, like a mobile charger, because I didn't have one when we were on the trip, but everybody else seemed to. I think Steph had one. Katie had like 2 in her bag. Everybody
had one. Oh my gosh.
It's not something that I normally, like, we've talked about them before on the Digi show. I know Steph's picked hers, and normally it's not a problem for me because I'm usually near one of my chargers. Or my car charger. I'll be in my car at some point so I can throw it on the car charger. And this was the first time that I was kind of out without any sort of charging plan for my phone unless I went back to my hotel. And so when I got home, actually, it wasn't even when I got home. I ordered one while I was in the airport waiting for my flight home because I was just surfing on Amazon and I was like, I need to get one of those things because it was so handy that when we were sitting down to eat dinner, they all just plugged their phones in, threw them in their purse. And then by the time dinner was done, they were like, oh, I'm at 80%. And then they were ready to go back out. So I thought that would be super handy because more and more now I'm finding that when I'm out, even though I can charge in my car, it'd be much more convenient for me to just throw it in my purse like that. So I bought a Power Gen. It's made by, I got it on Amazon. It was $30. And I think it's still $30. Like Britt said, it's not, I don't think it's a big name brand. I've never heard of it, but it's one of the best reviewed ones on Amazon. It's listed as one of their most popular, I think it is their most popular mobile charger right now, or external battery. So it had really good reviews and people liked it, and I got it, and I haven't gotten a ton of use out of it because I'm at home most of the time, so I don't need to charge on the go. But I like the idea of having it with me now for things like that.
There are times that I use mine even when I've had a long day working or texting with people and my battery's running down, and I'll just, because I don't want to have a cord running across to where I sit with my laptop. And so I'll just use it sitting right next to me charging.
That's when I've used it now, because there's some days where I'm really heavy on my phone, especially if I'm out a lot. Like if, I have meetings in the morning and then a doctor's appointment with the kid, and then we have scouts. And then by the time I'm done texting, because then I'm doing a lot of business on my phone, I'm answering emails, I'm, loading websites, I'm changing things in my store all on my phone. And then sometimes by 6 o'clock, I'm like, what do you mean I'm down to 20%? Like, how is this even possible? But I've been on my phone all day. And that's when I've used it most now, is when I normally would just kind of stay off it and then throw it on my car charger next time I'm in the car. It's nice just to reach into my purse, grab it, and throw it in there. And it's handy. Plus, I feel the need to use it because it's charged. So I don't want it to lose that charge that, I spent so much time charging it at home that now I'm like, well, it's charged. Use it or lose it. So I just throw it on there.
Nice. Okay, my pick has nothing to do with phone photography at all. It is a book called The Poster Art of the Disney Parks.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, it's because it goes through a whole bunch of vintage, kind of older Disney art posters, which they still do tons of the poster art things that you can see around the parks. Some of these are newer, some are older, but they go through and kind of talk about the design process and then the printing process for all of the different posters, which is really interesting to me.
I love that they keep doing that, even though, in the beginning it was like the way they used them was a necessity to make people aware of a new ride, because
attractions or events or but they still use them.
Yeah, especially now at California Adventure, the old vintage style posters, they come out with new ones all the time for the new, Radiator Springs Racers and all that had that same cool vintage look. It's just like a tradition that they keep doing. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Yep. And I noticed when I was at the parks this last time, I noticed how many posters there were around. There's a lot, and they come out with new ones every year too. You can see around posted on different blogs right now, the 2013 posters. They're super fun. There's a really cute one with Minnie Mouse and a bunch of cupcakes, and they're fun.
So is that something
where do you find this? That sounds incredible.
The new posters, the Minnie Mouse one.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it and link up to it. So I'll send you a link. But it's just I saw it actually in my Feedly last night. So I'll find it and send you a link. But they've got a bunch of new 2013 posters, and there's one with Minnie Mouse and a bunch of cupcakes. It's kind of a Valentine-ish type thing. So.
And is this book, you can get it on Amazon, or is it something you can only get in the parks?
Okay, you can get it on Amazon and in the parks. When I was at the park, I saw it and so I got onto Amazon to check and see price-wise. It's cheaper in the parks.
Really?
Shockingly enough, yeah.
That never happens.
No, it was significantly cheaper in the parks because it's only resellers that sell it on Amazon. And so there was somebody from Hungary selling it for $100, or I could get it for $40 in the parks. So
I just pulled it up on Amazon right now, and it looks like there's one for $25.
Nice.
So I don't know who's selling it for $20. No, it's Prime shipping and everything.
Then they must have been out of them or something while I was looking.
Maybe, or maybe they just added it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's about a year old or so, if I remember right.
Yeah, it just came out recently.
Newer.
I remember there was a post on the Disney Parks blog last spring or something that it was coming out, and they had some pictures of behind the scenes stuff. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Alrighty, let's go around one more time and share with our listeners where they can find you and what new and exciting things you have going on. Brittney.
I am at britishdesigns.com, and that's where you can find my store and my blog and everything there that has my digital scrapbook supplies. We have lots of new products coming out, not every week, but almost every week. I'm trying to think when this show is going to be on our website. So I'm like, when will this be new? Yeah,
12th,
we'll
November 12th. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have just okay. So then by the time this show's out, I'll have just released my first sort of project lifestyle. I keep doing that. Project lifestyle? No. The products that are in the style of sort of like a Project Life type of
you can use them with your Project Life plastic pages.
Thank you. So it's my first kind of foray into that style because I'm doing it for my own journal. I'm doing Project Lifestyle. Oh my gosh, I can't keep saying that.
Okay.
My own kind of Project Life weekly journal, but I'm doing it digitally. So I made the products for myself and I decided I might as well put these in products that other people can have too. So
perfect. And
that's what's going on.
Are they Disney related or everyday related?
They're everyday related now. We'll say that.
Okay.
Without saying too much. For now, they're just everyday related, but ...
Yeah. We'll see. Okay, Heather.
You can find me at the Lily Pad where I make fonts. And I guess I have something kind of exciting. I'm doing a little something special that I guess will be out by the time this airs with Amy Jazz Designs.
Oh, fun.
That'll be Disney related.
Ooh,
what is it?
I know. I'm excited now.
I guess everyone will already know by now, but
Amy Jazz went to Disney.
Hey, you're talking to future you, so go ahead and tell us.
It's a little Disney kit.
Yay!
I love her minimalist style, and so it's going to be a little vintagey, little minimalist Disney stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So did you do the fonts in it, or have you designed product now, Heather?
I have designed a little with her.
A little.
It's a little.
I mean, I might make a font for it. I haven't yet. We'll see. That'll be a surprise for the future.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. That's all for me.
Exciting stuff.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Okay, Peppermint.
You can find me at onelittlebirddesigns.com. There's links to all my non-Disney related stuff there.
Now that you've been, now you can do a Disney kit.
Well, it's going into my Project Lifestyle.
Oh, gosh.
I just haven't finished it up yet, so
Yay!
All in there.
Yay.
I'm still waiting on some pictures in our group Dropbox because
Not mine.
no, I have them, but there's like specific pictures that I want that I know people took.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who, Katrina Kennedy, and so
Busted.
So, like, I don't want to move forward because I know that I want those pictures because I didn't take pictures there and they haven't shown up in other people's. So I'm just waiting. But I might just swap them out and just use different pictures.
Yeah.
Get it done. Get it done.
I know. It's hard when I know.
Mainly, I want the shots that she took of you, me, and Katie because I don't have a ton that are the three of us together.
Yeah, I don't either, shockingly.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were like, okay, just the three of you. Okay, just the three of you. And
I don't have any of those.
I know. I'm like, where are all
Or
those
I have
pictures
them,
that
but
people
they weren't
took?
like, they're not, like one of us has our eyes shut,
Yeah.
mainly me,
Probably
or
me.
one of us wasn't smiling. And I just know that Katrina took good ones. So rather than spend a lot of time in Photoshop trying to make
Swap
some
out
other ones
eyes.
work, I just keep waiting for hers because I figure that'll do it for me. But anyways, yeah, I don't have any Disney related stuff. So if people are looking for it from me, they're not going to find it. I'm sorry. But I'll try harder.
Yeah. That the kit that you and Liz just released together are kind of in the Disney colors that could be used for, I think, for Disney.
Yeah, day planner. And that was the one I'm using because I'm doing like kind of an itinerary play-by-play. This was my day
Fun.
in the
I can't
life
wait to
type
see it.
thing. So that one works really well, but I don't feel qualified to do actual Disney product, having only been to Disney something once.
Well, it's better than not having been trying to do one.
I would hate to do like a horrible rendition of a Disney product and then have people think I'm some sort of hack.
Brother.
I'll leave it to the pros, to the Disney pros.
That's funny. Okay, let's see. I'm Steph, and you can find me at thedailydigi.com, where we have a new issue of the Digi Files, and by the time this airs, we'll be about halfway through revealing it. So be sure to check it out. If you want to learn to Digi-scrap, go to thedailydigi.com, and in the right-hand side, there is a free digital scrapbooking manual. You can also find me at capturingmagic.me, where we are posting every weekday with different tips and techniques and fun things, fun ideas for creating and capturing magic memories. And you can also find our new iPhone apps in the App Store, one for Disney World and one for Disneyland. So be sure to check those out as well. And that's all. Did I get it all?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
You did great.
If people are, I would just mention if people
comments.
Yeah.
I knew I was missing something. Yeah, if you have questions or comments, please post them in the show notes, or you can email us at mail@capturingmagic.me, and we can read your questions and answer them in an upcoming show. So if we don't know the answers, we will find the answers or have someone on that can answer it. So we would love to hear from you. Is that good?
Yep. And I heard that some people are still having problems trying to like search for the Capturing Magic apps in the iTunes store and not being able to find them. So they just go to capturingmagic.me and click on the iPad, the iPad apps tab there. Then you can just go straight there.
Click on the apps tab, and then it should take you in there. If you have iTunes 11 update, you will have a hard time finding it. So that's been one workaround that has worked for people. Yeah. Unfortunately, until Apple fixes it, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah. So I always just tell people, just go to the website and click on those tabs, because then you don't have to do a search for them.
Yeah, it's a direct link to the apps in the store. So, okay. Thank you all for being here, and you will find us back here again next time, where we will be capturing magic.